And hello again, my little mathematicians. We are going to be going over today what is a measure of center, and then the two most common ways that we find it, the mean and the median. So if you could be following along on page 1 of your packet where it says student handout 6, that would be fantastic. Okay. Now again, the two most common ways that we find the measure of center is the mean and the median. So if you want to take a look at these three gumball machines, it says move the gumballs around to create an equal number of gumballs in each machine. So if you were to find that out, how many it takes to be in each machine, that's kind of like, so each machine has the same one, what's the average amount? You can kind of think of it as determining the fair share, okay? The main thing we want to get across from this is that the mean is also known as the average amount. So it's like the average amount is so that each one has the same. Okay, how we do this is we find the sum of the pieces of data, or basically the sum of all the numbers in the data set. And then you divide it by the number of pieces in the data set, or you divide it by the number of numbers in the data set. Let's take a look at the first example. You have, it says find the fair share or mean of this specific data set. So example 1, you have a data set of 16, 12, 13, 8, and 11. So you're going to take those numbers in the data set and add them all together. When you type those into your calculator and add them all together, you should get 60. And then you divide it by how many numbers in the data set there were. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers in the data set. So when you go 60 divided by 5, you should get 12, meaning 12 is the average of that specific data set. For our second example, it works the same even if there's decimals. So if we have all of these numbers, and just put little plus signs between them all, okay, and add them all together, okay, so you have 5.6, 7.1, plus 9.9, plus 6, plus 8, plus 3.4, you should get 40. And if you count them, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers in the data set. So divide by 6, and 40 divided by 6 is, you could say, 6.6 repeating. That would work. If the directions said round it to the tens place, okay, so you know it keeps going. So the tens place is here. That 6 tells this 6 to go up to a 7. So if it didn't say to round, I would just leave it as 6.6 repeating. If it did say like maybe round it to the tens place, then that 6 tells this 6 to go up and it would be 6.7. Okay, that's how you go ahead and solve for those ones. Now let's take a look at the back side because we're also going to explore the median. Sorry about that. You feel like you're on a roller coaster? All right, so on the back side, page number 2, it says the median is another measure of center, which is the middle of the data set when it's organized from least to greatest. So that's a really important factor. Please make sure that you put them in order from least to greatest when you're doing the median. For the mean, they don't have to be in any specific order. You just add them all together and divide by how many numbers there are. But for the median, they do need to be in order first. And then you just cross off till you get to the center. So let's see, we have 1 here. So cross off from beginning, end, beginning, end, beginning, end, beginning, end, beginning, end, beginning, end, beginning, end. And so then it's right between these two numbers. Well, what's between 8 and 10? 9 is. Okay, so 9 is that specific measure of center or median. To remember, to find the median, you order them from least to greatest. Then you determine the middle of the data set. If there is not a middle number, then you find the mean of the two middle numbers like we did right here. You would find the mean of 8 and 10. So 8 plus 10 divided by 2, because there's two numbers. So 8 plus 10 is 18, divided by 2 is 9. Now, I mean, I didn't find the mean of it because I just knew that between 8 and 10 is 9. But if it was trickier than that, then you just find the mean of them. All right, let's take a look at some other data sets. And sometimes they'll ask you to find both the mean and the median. For the very first one, if you just add all those together to save yourself some time, let's pretend that we just put some plus signs between those. Try to plug them into your calculator, hit pause, and then unpause when you think you have the median or the mean. Okay, when you add all those together, you should have gotten 497. And then when you count, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 numbers in the data set. So 497 divided by 10 is 49.7, meaning that this has a mean of 49.7. To find the median, you have to list them in order from least to greatest. So I have 27, and then I'm going to cross that off. My next smallest number is 33, then 38, then 41. And I like crossing them off just so that then I don't reuse it. It makes it easier. Okay, then 42, then 52, and then 60, 64, 68, and finally 72. Okay, and always, 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 just a strong suggestion, you don't want to do all this work for nothing. So I always count how many numbers I wrote. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then count how many numbers I had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Since they matched, I didn't write 1 too many times or forget about 1. So now I go ahead and I just start crossing off from beginning to end till I get to the middle. So first, last, first, last, first, last, first, last, first, last. So again, we're between two numbers. So I need to find the median. And this one's a little bit trickier. It's harder for me to just know, oh, like this one was, okay, what's between 8 and 10? Well, obviously 9. This one, not so obvious. So it's helpful to find the mean of them. So it's between 42 and 52. And there's two numbers I'm finding the average of. So go ahead and add 42 plus 52, and you get 94 divided by 2. And 94 divided by 2 is 47. So the median is 47. Notice that the median and mean are pretty darn close together because this data set is pretty close together. Like there's not, they kind of increase about the same amount and there's not huge outliers. So it should be pretty similar. All right, let's take a look at the second one. If I add all these numbers together, okay, you should get a total sum of, hit pause, and then figure it out, and then unpause when you got it. Okay, you should be back with me. When you added them all together, you got 28, and there was a total of 14 numbers. So 28 divided by 14 is 2. Okay, so the mean is 2. Now, if there's not an outlier, they all seem pretty close together. But again, let's check. Let's see them in order from least to greatest. So I see 0 how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. And then 1 twice. And then a 1.5. And then 2 twice. Finally, a 3 and a 3.5 and a 6 and an 8. Okay, double check that there should be 14 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Perfect. And now you cross off from beginning to end to find that exact middle number. They didn't go that far away. It went from 0 to 8, so the median should hopefully be pretty close to this number. Let's see. First, last, first, last, first, last, first, last, first, last, first, last, first, last. So it's between 1 and 1.5. So 1 plus 1.5 divided by 2 to find the median Well, 1 plus 1.5 is 2.5, and 2.5 divided by 2 is 1.25. So you have a median of 1.25. So sometimes the numbers can be like this, and then don't forget they can also be represented in a dot plot. And so it's nice when it's like that because they're actually already listed in order for you. For the mean, it might be a little bit trickier for you to see, but it's 0, 1, plus 1, plus 2. Here, let me write it out. 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 2, plus 4, plus 4, plus 6, plus 7. And how many numbers were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers in the data set. So when you add all those together, you get 25, and there was 8 numbers, so 25 divided by 8 is 3.125. And then if you want to find the median, cross off from beginning, end, beginning, end, beginning, end, beginning, end. So it was between the 2 and 4. Well, what's between 2 and 4? 3. And again, the data didn't stray very much. They're all kind of close together, so our mean and median are pretty close together. Okay, finally, the last one says it's given to you in a frequency chart. So it's saying how many times did each of these numbers happen. So let me use a different color so they don't all blur together. Okay, so this happened, you have the numbers 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, and 11. And it's kind of hard to see because the tick marks are really close together, but you can see that for the 3, 6, and 8, there's actually 2 tick marks in the same box. There's 2 tally marks. So that means that the 3 happened twice. And then the 4 happened once, 5 happened once. There's 2 tally marks in the 6 box, so 2 6s, 2 8s, 1 10, and 1 11. So if you add all those together, you should have gotten 64. And there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 numbers. And 64 divided by 10 is 6.4. So you should have a mean of 6.4. And you should have a median, if you cross off from beginning to end. Let's see. First, last, first, last, first, last, first, last, first, last. It's between 6 and 6, so it's just 6. And if you're like, wait, what? Well, 6.5 isn't between 6. That's a common error. There's no space between 6. It's just 6. And if you want to do it the testing way of finding the average, okay, well, 6 plus 6 is 12, and 12 divided by 2 is still 6. There is no number between 6. So there you go. All right, you now found out how to find the mean and median if it's given to you listed in a dot plot or in a frequency chart. So you should feel very, very proud of yourselves. Good job, my little mathematicians.